Welcome, I'm Seema from Edufinite. In this video, I'll be explaining the rules involved in the correct use of prepositions in a sentence, that is, where and how you can place a preposition in a sentence. It is very important to understand these rules for various competitive exams as well as for your spoken English. If you want to know more about prepositions and its types, you can check my other videos on them. And if you have any query, you can ask me in the comment section. Let us delve into the topic. Now, what is a preposition? Well, a preposition is a word or a phrase. As I have highlighted it, the word is preposition. So, that is prepositioned or placed before a noun, a pronoun, or a noun phrase to indicate or show the direction. That means preposition is a word which is placed before. It might be a noun, or it might be pronoun which is used instead of a noun, or it can be a noun phrase. And what does it do? It shows the direction. Like in this sentence, go straight to bed. Now the word to, that means you have to go towards the bed, go straight to bed. So you're telling the direction where the person has to go whom you're ordering, go straight to bed. Next, so it shows direction. It shows time. That means if we say the sentence, she will complete the project by Monday. So the word by, which is positioned before the noun Monday, is telling us about the time, like by what time will she be completing the project. So by Monday. So the word by is the preposition which is giving us a sense of time. Next, place. Well, in this sentence, the Taj Mahal is in Agra. Well, where is Taj Mahal? In Agra. So it's telling us about the place. Next, location. She was waiting for us at the reception. So where was she waiting for us? The location, particular place where she was waiting for us. So at is giving us the sense of location. Spatial relationships. For example, in this sentence, write your name above the line. So the line is there and you have to write your name above it. So it's trying to give us the spatial relationship between where you're going to write the name and the line. Or it also helps to introduce an object. For example, a box full of sweets. So the preposition of is telling us what the box is full of. It is introducing the object sweets. Well, the examples of prepositions are at, by, for, from, in, into, of, onto, on, onto, and so on. Well, so these are a list of certain prepositions which we very frequently use. In today's lesson, we will study the rules for using prepositions correctly in a sentence. So, we are using prepositions regularly in a sentence. On, off, at, these type of words we use very frequently when we talk or when we write about a topic or whatever it is. So, we have to know a few rules which will guide us through and help us, to place the prepositions in the right place without any mistake. So let's look into it. So the rules for using preposition. The following rules discussed here will help you to understand the usage of prepositions correctly. So the first one is prepositions must have an object. So that's the first and very important rule. Why? Because prepositions will always be followed by an object. After preposition, you will always have an object about which the preposition is trying to say. And that object will either be a noun or any word used instead of noun, that is pronoun, or any noun phrase. Now here is why the object part of preposition is important, because many words that function as prepositions also function as adverbs. So, to identify whether the word that we are using is a preposition or an adverb, it is very much essential to have an object with the preposition. Now we come to the reason why is it so important. Without an object, a preposition becomes an adverb, as adverbs do not take an object. So that is the most important part. That is why a preposition, whenever we see that particular word has an object, which is a noun or a pronoun or a noun phrase, that means that word is a preposition. But if that particular word is without any object, in that case, it is playing the role of an adverb. Now let's look into some of the examples to understand it better. As the car honked, the dog quickly ran across the road. So, the car is honking and the dog got scared and oh God, and it started running. It just ran across the road. So over here, the word across, what does it have after it? It has the object, the road, which is what? Road is the noun. So this word across is a preposition. Well, let's look into the next sentence. As the bridge was broken, the people swam across. So over here, what do we see? We still have that word across. But after that word across, there is no object. So since it is without any object, so this is an adverb. And what is it doing? It is qualifying the verb swam. The people swam. Where did they swim? They swam across the river or wherever the bridge was broken. So they could not, cross that river because the bridge was broken. So when they had to go from one side to the other, they had to swim across the river. So over here, you see the difference that across in the first sentence, across the road, that has the object. So that's a preposition. And in the next sentence, swam across. After across, there is no object. So that's the adverb. Let's look into some other sentences to understand it more clearly. We walked along the beach in the evening. So along is the preposition. And what does it have? It, of course, has an object, which is the beach. Here, beach is the noun. So, of course, it's the object. So, for that reason, in this sentence, along is the preposition. Well, the next one. She brought her dog along when she went for a vacation. So, she brought her dog along. After along, there is no object. So, over here, along is the adverb and it qualifies the verb brought. She brought what? Her dog what? Along. So that along is the adverb over here. Well, let's look into some more sentences. The boys hid under the table and their mother kept on looking for them. So under the table, here under is the preposition because after it, the object is there. What is the object? The table. Table is a noun, hence under is the preposition. Again, for them. What about for them? After for, there is an object, them. What is them? Them is the pronoun. So, yes, for is also a preposition. But let's look into the next sentence. I seen your dog sleeping under that shade some time ago. So over here, the word under does not have any object after it. So what is it then? Without an object, it's an adverb. And what is it qualifying? It is qualifying the verb sleeping. So where is the dog sleeping? Under. What under? Under that shade some time ago. So here we see how the same word under is acting as a preposition when it has an object after it, which is a noun or it might be a pronoun. And the same word under without an object performs the role of an adverb. Well, the next sentence. I have kept the chair outside the hall. Please keep it inside. So again, outside the hall. So the word outside is a preposition because it has the object, the hall. Hall is a noun. Hence, outside is a preposition. Well, the next one. Is it sunny outside? So again, after outside, what is there? There is no object. So this is again an adverb which has no object and it qualifies the verb is. Now, words that can be used as either prepositions or adverbs. I've just given a small list which are common words which you can just have a look at it and understand, because these words can be used as prepositions if they have an object after them or as adverbs without any objects. So the words are as abroad, across, along, alongside, around, astride, behind, below, beneath, between, beyond, by, out, throughout, to, under, beneath, within, without. So these are some of the words which are used both as preposition as well as adverbs. Now, let's look into the second rule. Prepositions must be placed before an object. So, it has to be placed before an object. Just we saw in the last rule that an object has to follow the preposition. So, let's look into it in details. Preposition, as the name indicates, is generally positioned or placed before its object. The object is either a noun, a pronoun, or a noun phrase, as we have already done it in the first rule. For example, my friend is at the table when I entered. So here, preposition at is before its object, the table, where table is a noun. So you have to understand this. Whenever there is a preposition, it will always be before the object. It can never be after the object. It has to be before the object, and that object will either be a noun or a pronoun, because the word used instead of a noun is a pronoun, or it can be a noun phrase too. So these are the three options of the object which will always follow the preposition. He sat on it. So on it. Again, on has a object after it, or on is placed before an object. So this it is a pronoun. Hence, on is the preposition. Next, Roma did not want to go on a hilly road trip. So again, on, after on we have what? On is placed before the object, a hilly road trip, and a hilly road trip is a noun phrase. So again, on is a preposition. Well, sometimes when a preposition is not positioned or placed before its object, it will still be closely related to its object. So, the general rule is that it has to be placed before its object. But in certain cases, there are certain exceptions where they are not placed exactly beside their object, but they have to have a close relation with the object, otherwise they will not behave as a preposition. So let's look into some of the examples to understand it. Now, in this sentence, or it's a question rather. What are you playing with? Now this with is the preposition. Why? Because it is related. What is its object? Its object is what? And this what, why is it related? Because if we ask this question, what are you playing with? Suppose maybe a small child is playing with something which I can't see. Maybe he has turned his back towards me and he's playing with something and I haven't seen him, like what he is playing with. So I ask him the question, what are you playing with? And what will he answer me? I'm playing with a ball. So in this answer, you see, with a ball. So with is related, or it's placed before the object a ball. What represents that a ball? So over here, though with is not beside the object, but it is related to the object, which is what over here, which is the subject pronoun. Well, in the next one, whom is Tina talking to? Again, in this question, to is the preposition because it is related to the object whom, where whom is the object pronoun. Because if we have the answer to it, suppose I ask someone, I'm seeing Tina is talking to someone and I just can't go across and ask Tina, like, who are you talking to? So I'm asking, maybe there's another person in the room, I'm asking, whom is Tina talking to? So the person will answer, maybe Tina is talking to her friend. So again, to her friend. So to has its object, her friend. So over here, whom, the answer to whom is her friend. So to, preposition to, has close relationship with its object. Well, in the next one, whose pen are you writing with? Maybe someone, I'm writing with maybe my mother's pen or my father's pen, and someone has entered the room and they know that it's not my pen. So they are asking me, or that person is asking me, whose pen are you writing with? Now this with is again a preposition because it is closely related with the possessive pronoun whose. Because the answer will be, I'm writing with my father's pen. So with my father's pen. So my father's pen is the object of with. Hence that is a preposition. Well, now let's come to the next rule. Prepositions must have object pronoun following them. So we know prepositions have objects following them, and those objects can be a pronoun. But the pronoun that will follow a preposition will always be in the objective form, or you can call it an object pronoun. So prepositions, we know this rule, are generally followed by an object, that is noun, pronoun, or noun phrase. If a pronoun is the object of a preposition, then it must be in the objective form. What is the objective form? Me, us, you, her, his, it, them. And not, this is important, and not in the subjective form, I, we, you, she, he, it, they. So it cannot be in the subjective form. Well, it and you are the same in subjective and objective form. So it's no use writing, but I've just mentioned it so that you understand. It and you are both same in their subjective as well as objective form. So now let's look into some of the examples to understand it better. Congrats! I know the deal has been signed between you and them. So over here we see that between is the preposition. Why? Because it has you and them as objects, and you and them are what? Objective pronouns. So you cannot say, congrats, I know the deal has been signed between you and they. That's a subjective pronoun. You cannot use they. Since you is same for both subjective and objective case, so we are using you. The next one. I know you will be playing cricket with us. So here again, the preposition with has us as an object and it is an objective pronoun. We are not saying, I know you'll be playing cricket with we. That's a subjective form. We cannot use it. It has to be the objective form after the preposition, because that's how the object of a preposition is when a pronoun is used. Well, in the next sentence, I bought this gift for her. Again here, preposition for has her as an object and it is the objective pronoun. You cannot say, I bought this gift for she. That's absolutely wrong. Well, let's go to the next set of rules. Placement of prepositions in a sentence. Now, where can we place the preposition in a sentence? Prepositions are generally followed by an object, noun, pronoun, or noun phrase. This is the definition of the preposition. So we have to come to it over and over again. Prepositions are generally placed after a noun, a verb, or an adjective in a sentence. Okay? So that's placing of the preposition. Like they can be after a noun, a verb, or an adjective, but after the preposition, there should be an object definitely. So let's look into it. Prepositions are also used after a direct object of transitive verb. So transitive verb means verb that have objects. So the direct object of the transitive verb, yes, after that also prepositions can be placed. Prepositions can be placed at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end of a sentence. So these are the places where prepositions can be placed. It can be placed after a noun, it can be placed after a verb, or it can be placed after an adjective. Even it can be placed after the direct object of a transitive verb. Moreover, it can be at the beginning of the sentence, it can be in the middle of the sentence, or it can be at the end of the sentence. So now let's look into some of the examples to understand it. After noun. So Meena felt anger at the sudden change of meeting plan. So over here what we see anger is the noun and after noun at is the preposition. Why? Because after at we have the noun phrase, a sudden change of meeting plan. So this is the preposition. Well, let's look into the next sentence. His action brought great fame to his family. So again, his action brought great fame. The word fame is the noun. And after that, we have the preposition to. And after preposition, what do we have? We have the object, his family. So that's the object. Next, both of them express satisfaction with the agreement. So here again, we have preposition with placed after the noun satisfaction. And after preposition, yes, we have the object, that's the agreement. So this is how we see that prepositions are placed after the nouns. Well, next is after verbs. They all laughed at my comic presentation. So they all laughed. Laughed is the verb. After that, we have the preposition. And then we have the object, my comic presentation. So over here, what we are seeing is this preposition is attaching the noun phrase, my comic presentation, with the verb. So that is what a preposition usually does. It attaches its object, whatever is there behind it or whatever object is there after it, that it attaches to the rest of the part of the sentence. So they all laughed at what? At my comic presentation. Next, he punched the window pane and the glass smashed to pieces. So again, what happened? He punched the window pane and then what happened? The glass smashed. It just got smashed to small pieces. So again, to is the preposition because after that we have what? The object pieces, which is noun, and smashed is the verb. So it's placed after the verb. Well, in the next sentence, Millie dreams of skydiving one day. So again, dreams is the verb and of is the preposition which is placed after the verb. And of what? Of the object is skydiving one day. So that's a noun phrase. Now this noun phrase is being attached to dreams by the preposition of. Well, next we come to after adjectives. So Raj was very busy with his work yesterday. Again, with is placed beside the adjective busy and the noun phrase his work yesterday is, what is it doing? That's the object of the preposition with. Now, it's being attached busy with what? His work yesterday. So busy with his work. So his work is the object of the preposition with. Next. They are confident about their future. Again, confident is the adjective and about is the preposition and their future is its object. So their future is being glued to the sentence or is being attached to the adjective by this preposition about. Next, Nagpur is famous for its oranges. Again, Nagpur is famous. So the word famous is the adjective, for is the preposition, and its object is its oranges. Well, the next one is after direct object of transitive verb. She scolded him for being rude. Now here the verb is scolded and its direct object is him. She scolded whom? Him. So after this direct object of transitive verb scolded is the preposition for. For what? Being rude. So being rude is the object of the preposition for. Next, my mother added butter to my soup. So over here we see added is the verb or the transitive verb which has the direct object butter. My mother added what? Butter. So that's the direct object. Now that after that we have the preposition to and its object is my soup. So this is how they are placed. Next one. The man snatched the purse from her hand. Now here snatched is the verb and the man snatched what? The purse. So the purse is the direct object of the transitive verb snatched and from is the preposition placed just beside the direct object of the transitive verb. And how do we know from is the preposition? Because after from we have the object her hand. So here this is how prepositions are placed after noun, verb, adjective or a direct object of a transitive verb. Now here we see that how preposition can be placed at the beginning, in the middle or at the end of the sentence. Now in this question, for whom? Maybe I'm not asking, someone is showing some book or something or a pen. I'm asking for whom? For whom is that pen? I'm not telling the whole thing. I'm just asking for whom. So if I just ask for whom, for is the preposition because after that we have the object whom. Rahul got on the bus near the school. So in the first one, we had right at the beginning of the sentence, it's a question. In the second, we have it in the middle. On the bus. So on is the preposition, the bus is its object. And the bus near the school is a noun phrase. So here, it's in the middle of the sentence. But over here, whom are you going with? So again, here with is the preposition which is placed at the end of the sentence or the question. Now, we come to the next rule. Prepositions do not take a verb as its object. Now, this is very important. We have to keep this in mind. As an object, it can only take a noun, a pronoun, or a noun phrase. I have been repeatedly telling that. Now, prepositions are never followed by a verb. If a verb is required to follow the preposition, then its gerund form is used. So a verb can never follow a preposition, but if we need the verb to follow that particular preposition, then it has to be in the gerund form. That is what? It is in the ing form. Let's look into some of the examples to understand it better. That is a base verb plus ing. That's same as present participle. I completed my work before coming. So again, over here we see before is the preposition, and after that we have coming, which is the gerund form of the verb come. We cannot say I completed my work before come. That you just can't do. So it has to be coming. That is a gerund form. Gerund is the noun form because it is used as a noun. Though it looks like a verb, but it plays the role of a noun. Why? Because over here it's being used as an object. Just as a noun, what does a noun do? It either plays the role of a subject, or as an object or as a subjective complement. So here we are using the word coming as the object of the preposition before. Next. Or we can say, instead of saying I completed my work before coming, we can also say I completed my work before I came. So again, what is happening before I came? So I is the object of the preposition before. Next. These pencils are for drawing. Again, you see, for is the preposition, drawing is the gerund, which is the gerund form of the verb, base verb, draw. So that is how we can use. We cannot say these pencils are for draw. Or we can say these pencils are for you to draw. So again, we have to insert that pronoun. Next, we come to the next set of rules. Preposition to is not the same as infinitive to. So preposition to and infinitive to are very different. And now let's see how. Preposition to is always followed by a noun because we know preposition always has an object, and that object can be either a noun, a pronoun, or a noun phrase. So after to, always it will be followed by a noun. But an infinitive to is always followed by a verb in its base form. So what is actually infinitive? Infinitive is to plus the base form of the verb. That's the infinitive. For example, I look forward to an outing. So to is the preposition followed by the noun outing. Next, I look forward to hearing from you. Again, here we have the gerund form, and we cannot say I look forward to hear from you. That is wrong. Next, they are committed to the cause. Again, after to we have the cause. So it's followed by the noun cause. Next, Ravi is used to working late hours. So here the preposition to is followed by the gerund working. Next, over here we come to the infinitives now. The sentences with infinitives. To cheat is a crime. So over here what do we see? After to we have the verb cheat. That's the base form of the verb cheat. So it's an infinitive because to plus verb is an infinitive. To plus noun is preposition. Next, Ravi used to live in Paris. Again, to live. So live is the verb in its base form. So it's an infinitive. Next, John loves to sing. Again, what we have? To plus the base form of the verb sing. So it is an infinitive. Well, the next set of rules. Preposition and its forms. So simple preposition or one word preposition. So these are, at, by, in, on, off, to, up, for, out, over, from, under, etc. For example, I look forward to an outing. This is simple preposition. To is a simple preposition. Don't look at her. That is again, at is the simple preposition. The dog jumped over the fence. So over is the simple preposition. Next we have double preposition. And what are double prepositions? There are two prepositions joined together to form one word preposition. For example, amid. So you can see amid. Beside, behind, into. So these two words are fused to form one word and they behave as a single word preposition. Inside, onto, outside, throughout, within, etc. Now let's look into some of the examples. The frog leaped into the pond. So into is the double preposition because in and to, two words are fused together to form one single word. Meeta was standing behind Asha. So again, behind is the double preposition. I will be waiting outside the cafeteria. So again, outside is the double preposition. Well, the next one is compound or complex prepositions are two-word prepositions functioning together as one preposition. That means these two words remain separate, but they together function as a single preposition. For example, they are like according to, ahead of, because of, close to, far from, instead of, prior to, similar to, throughout, etc. So let's look into some of the examples to understand them. Sam wants chicken stew instead of mutton curry. So again, instead of is the compound or the complex preposition. It will be sunny today according to Asha. So according to is the compound or complex preposition. Next, I live quite close to my office. Close to is the compound or the complex preposition. Next, participial preposition or participle prepositions are participles. That means the form can be ing, that is like the present participle, or it can also be in the past participle form, that means ed form. So the words like considering, so ing, during, ing, excluding, following, notwithstanding, pending, regarding, etc. So let's look into some of the examples. I will be working during the holidays. Now during, the word during is the participle preposition. The weather was not favorable, notwithstanding, they decided to continue the trip. So again, notwithstanding is the participle preposition because it has the ing with it. Well, the last one is the phrasal preposition. Are phrases of three or more words that can include adverb, verb, and other words that function as one phrasal preposition. They can be three or more words, but they together will function as one preposition. For example, as far as opposed to, as long as soon as, in addition to, in front of, in spite of, in reference to, on top of, with the exception of, etc. Now let's look into some of the examples to understand it better. Can you see the mall in front of that building? So in front of is the phrasal preposition. Next, you can wait here as long as you don't interrupt. So again, as long as is the phrasal preposition. After getting the award, they were on top of the world. So after getting the award, naturally, they were very happy. So they were on top of the world, and that's the phrasal preposition. Now, the next set of rules. The do's and the don'ts of preposition. So let's look into them. The preposition like means similar to and should be followed by an object which can be a noun, a pronoun, or a noun phrase, which can never be followed by a verb. So after the noun or the noun phrase or the pronoun, whichever is the object of the preposition, you can never put a verb after that. For example, he sprints like a cheetah. So over here, like is a preposition, a cheetah of course is the object, which is a noun. Cheetah is the noun. But, so in this sentence, he sprints like a cheetah does. Here what are we doing? After the object, which is a noun, cheetah, we are putting a verb does, which is absolutely wrong. So you cannot do this. Well, the next thing is, while comparing, if we have to use a verb after the object of preposition, then we should use prepositions. Which prepositions? We cannot use like then. We can use as or as if or as though or simply the way. So let's look into some of the examples. He sprints like a cheetah does. We know that's wrong. Said it earlier. We cannot have a verb after the object of the preposition, which is a noun. Now, in this case, what can we do? We can write it, he sprints the way a cheetah does. So if we have to retain that the word does, then we remove the word like, the preposition like, and instead of that we use the way. So this is right. We can say he sprints the way a cheetah does. Do like you are told. So this is again wrong. Why? Because after like we have the object you, which is the pronoun. Again we are using verb after that, are told. We cannot do that. So how can we rewrite this sentence correctly? Do as you are told. So here we use the preposition as. Do as you are told. So that's right. Next. It seems like it will rain. Again, like it will rain. We cannot use it that way. What can we do? We can change it and write it seems as if it will rain. So that's correct. As if. We are using the preposition as if. It seems as if it will rain. We cannot use the preposition like over here and say it seems like it will rain. That's wrong English. Well, now, while comparing, if we do not have a verb after the object of preposition, then we should not use preposition as, because it means in the same fashion or in the same manner. So, when we have a verb after the object of the preposition and we are comparing something, then we can use as. But if there is no verb after the object of the preposition, then we cannot use the preposition as. For example, Mala, as most of her classmates, has submitted her project. So over here, there is no verb. As most of her classmates. So we cannot use it this way. We can rewrite it as Mala, as most of her classmates have done, has submitted her project. So after most of her classmates, we have put the verb have done. So this makes sense. So Mala, as most of her classmates have done, like we are comparing. Her classmates have done that. So Mala is also doing the same thing. So this comparison, when we are drawing between Mala and her classmates, then if we use as, we have to have verb after the object. So most of our classmates have done. That word have done is very important. Or we can use like, and without the verb we can write Mala, like most of her classmates, has submitted her project. So if we use like, we cannot use a verb. But if we use as, we have to use a verb after the object. So that's all for today. Thank you for being there with me. If you have liked the content, do give a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Do subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell icon for future updates. Bye. Take care. See you in the next one.